Now that my weaving is woven and I'm ready to take it off the backstrap loom, I'm going to do a hem stitch. So to start, I just want to, because this thread here is the last of the plain weave and it's, I went underneath it, I'm just going to go over it to make sure that thread gets caught. And then I'm going underneath 5 threads. So I'm going to group these in bundles of 6 as I go through this process. Now these go underneath all of those threads. And I'm coming back around, so I want the thread to go over on top, and I'm coming back down 2 rows into my weaving directly underneath where I came out of that initial stitch where I went underneath 5 threads. So you want to make sure when you do this that your thread that's coming out of the bottom of the inside of the weaving, that it's not inside of that loop. So there's my first stitch. Now I want to go directly up and catch the threads right to the left of where I started. And I want to pick up 6 threads again. And I'm just going to continue picking up 6 threads so I have even bundles. So I go underneath those 6 threads. I'm tightening that stitch there. And now I go back into that spot where the first stitch of picking up 6 started, and I want to go into the weaving. I'm putting my needle 2 weft passes down directly underneath that first or the second area where that pickup came from. So once I tighten that, you can see these bundles are starting to be made. So again, I go directly up and I pick up 6 threads. Now I go back into the space where I started and I bring my needle down, and you can see it's going in a diagonal. So it goes down directly from where this floating yarn is and into the bottom of the second pass of the warp of the weft. And then I'm just pulling that. So I'll continue this all the way across. So now that I'm at the end, I'm just taking this thread back into that last stitch. And I just have it going up and back down into that one stitch there. And then I'm reweaving, just following the weave pattern right here along this area of the weft, and just weaving it in about 1/2 inch. And then I'll cut my thread. So I'm just cutting it in the back. Now I have a few threads, so the supplemental weaving here, as I was weaving, I just caught it along the side to keep it going, but I decided I didn't want to keep doing that, so I have this tail here that I need to deal with. So I'm just pulling this out so I have enough thread to work with. And this was just a sample, so I wasn't really focused too much on what I should be doing. So now I'm just threading my needle, and I'm going back into that supplemental area, one stitch down, one row down from where I went. So I went into the weave the same pattern as what I used before for the supplemental, but now I'm just sticking my needle through the back of the weaving, and then I'm pulling this through. So I'll just clip it off on the back.